Welcome to Austin, Texas. There's the state capitol in this beautiful, vibrant entertainment capital of Texas and America. And there's the viewing tower at Circuit of the Americas, America's home for Formula One, where NASCAR comes to play for the third time here in 2023. Cars are on track for this Friday practice session, added because of the new short track and road course downforce package. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Joy alongside former NASCAR Road Course Cup Series winners. They're on the list, Clint Boyer and Kurt Busch. So, what are we most looking forward to today?
The names. We got F1 world champions in this race, Mike. Can't wait to see those guys. Jordan Taylor, Jimmy Johnson's back. I said Jordan Taylor filling in for Chase Elliott. I think not only is he going to be good, he could be a favorite.
Tons of big names, tons of guys from different backgrounds. I'm interested in the downforce package, which is much less downforce, and a tire that they tested here back in January. It has a lot of drop off. So what does that do to change the strategy on when you pit? Because there's no stages as far as brakes, but there's still points available. Lots of newness at the road course this year.
And I think that's exactly why this practice session right now is so important. A lot of unknowns of these guys need to get these cars dialed in, and they don't have a lot of time to do it.
Well, let's have a look at the Circuit of the Americas. 20 corners, 2 long straightaways. The first one leading way uphill to turn 1, down through the decreasing radius S's, and then into a left-right combination. A quick squirt to turn 11, slowest corner on the course.
Pretty tight.
And then that long straightaway, and then hold on for turn 12.
16, 17, so weird how those gears, it's tight corner, opens up. 19, one last try, Kurt, off of 20 for the win.
Yeah, there's a few corners where they're going to police the track limits, mainly on the apexes, but corner exits are pretty much wide open, as much as you can grab for speed and carrying these big heavy stock cars around some of these tight corners.
And there you ride through the S's on the front bumper of Ryan Blaney's car.
Yeah, this is that turn 6 where it continues to decrease and get tougher and tougher to hold the car to the right.
But you can't get too far to the right there. You put all 4 tires underneath that rumble strip, that could be a penalty. Be very well, they would be watching that closely.
Mainly in that turns 3, 4, 5. Yes, sir. This is, to me, the best part of the track to carry a ton of speed. That's turn 10 going down into 11. And this is that super hard braking zone where most guys now are just rifling it in there and not even worried about the apex. Cool racetrack, though. So many corners, 20 corners at this place. It gives you so many options.
Long straightaway. Slight rise there. And then you come up to turn 12, and it's like taking a 90-degree left turn into your local parking lot.
And it has a little dip right at the apex that if you're over braking and you have that little dip, it'll be easy to lock up the left front tire.
Yeah, right here you can see those corners are so tricky. Holding it out right there, somebody holds it tight. Everybody does that a little bit different. Sometimes it's driving style, a lot of times it's how your car's handling.
Yeah, that stadium section, I mean, this track, to me was designed for F1 cars, MotoGP, where the cars are much more nimble and they have the downforce. These are big, heavy, lethargic stock cars with low downforce, and so that's gonna be about tire wear and tire management.
All right, let's check in on pit road. Regan Smith.
Well, Mike, you mentioned the number of guys that are in the field today with limited experience or no experience in stock cars. In particular, one of those, Jenson Button, world champion in 2009 of F1, 15-time Grand Prix winner, but very limited stock car experience. This practice is very crucial for this race team right now. So limited experience that they actually took him to ZMAX Dragway this week in Charlotte to give him an opportunity to go around and just feel the gears and the shifting and how this car operates compared to everything that he's been used to before.
Jenson Button, F1. Pretty crazy to see those guys in this Cup Series, Kurt.
I love it. Welcome to NASCAR, Jenson. We're going to go to a parking lot for a quick shakedown for you.
Yeah, that's all the practice he got. Literal parking lot.
Let's bring in Larry McReynolds.
Yeah, I actually talked to Jenson Button on my radio show a couple of weeks ago, and he said, I know I've got a lot to get used to, the sequential shifter, how high the CG is on these cars, but he said the thing I may never get used to, I've been going back and watching races from COTA, how these guys just drive over the top of each other on a restart in turn 1.
Yeah, you will see a lot of that.
You don't have that in F1.
Nope. And that's where in the past some of our road course ringers have gotten roughed up. You know, they run their line, they run really well, school some of these guys through most of the race, and then, excuse me, pardon me, out of the way, I got to go get some points.
Well, I think that's what they're going to have to overcome, Kurt. I mean, they're so used to dialing in a lap time and racing the racetrack. Here in the Cup Series, you're racing door to door with people, working a pass for many laps, and you got to make sure when you make that dive bomb that you make it in the right area, because if you shoot up, somebody will get back underneath them. You might get, you might lose 2 trying to get 1. Those are the racing scenarios that I think he'll probably come to enjoy, but he'll enjoy it through a challenge.
It's very difficult. I mean, I would say it's just a generational shift of guys racing each other with less etiquette. You know, when I was growing up, it was about that braking zone, being nice and properly passing somebody, keeping your speed through apex. Now it's rip, gouge, crush, and move on.
How about Jimmy Johnson back? He's back, folks, in his own ride. He's footing the bill now, Kurt. That's good. That's a new thing for him. You wreck one of these babies, you're paying for it.
Oh, he ain't even looking at the old checkbook. We got Jordan Taylor. This is your pick, right? This is going to be a big surprise to see happen and unfold with what he's able to do. We know he's going to have raw speed, but how is he going to manage the race?
Well, of all the guys that have opportunities that are coming into this race, I think his opportunity is the best. He's been driving that Garage 56 car for the Chevrolet program for a while, testing even at this racetrack. But nonetheless, that 9 car is a bullet.
And IMSA, where he races, well, that's gotten pretty argy-bargy lately with lots of contact. Haven't heard the term road course ringers lately, but here they are. Kimi Räikkönen won his last Formula One race right here for Ferrari. We mentioned Jenson Button, the 2009 World Driving Champion. And Jordan Taylor, did he bring his alter ego Rodney Sandstorm along? The ultimate Jeff Gordon fan, 24 Hour of Le Mans winner and double IMSA champion. You might add Jimmy Johnson to that list, although Jimmy's a 7-time Cup champ. He's running a limited schedule this year for Legacy Motor Club, including several of the road courses, so he could be a ringer. Looking back, Daniel Suarez, the Sonoma winner last year.
What am I looking at here? P1, P2 on the board. I got to be a little biased to 2311. Got some raw speed right out of the gate. I like that. 213. I think that's what they were shooting for in the sim, but pace drop off I still think is going to be key.
Absolutely. I think that's very important, but it shows me that that's a team success. When you talk about the speed at 2311, it's not just Reddick up there, it's just Wallace. Both cars top of the board, bringing the heat.
And Logano just jumps to 4th on the board behind Chase Briscoe. Now the timing line for practice and qualifying is not on the front straightaway here at start finish. It's back before the entry to the garage area and pit road to make things a little more efficient for qualifying. There it is.
Yeah, it's right after the long carousel, and it just helps with efficiency on not having to burn up a full lap to come back into the garage area. So it just cleans things up, tidies it up a little bit, and you still, you're trying to hold it wide open to that line, and usually you blow through 19, but you're done for that lap.
Note 5th place, Michael McDowell. If he was not a Cup regular, he would be a road course ringer. Got his start in the Star Mazda Open Wheel Series. Looked like he might be headed for maybe Indy, and then took a left turn into stock car racing, where he's been ever since. So he will be a threat here.
I mean, you guys had that display of all of the different guys from all around the world and the road course ringers, but we can just go right down our roster of guys that have been in this Cup Series, like you're saying, Mike, with McDowell. I mean, Chastain has been lightning fast on the road courses. Suarez won last year at Sonoma. Got my little brother with Kyle Busch out there, and then Allmendinger. You can never count out Allmendinger. I mean, you can just keep going down. Like Larson won last year. Reddick won 2 road course races.
Bell.
I mean, the list is stacked with guys that can run at these tracks.
Kimi Räikkönen in the 91 and A.J. Allmendinger right there. Hey, Jordan Taylor just jumped up to 4th spot on the board.
Doesn't surprise me a bit. Riding with A.J. right there. A little loose on the outside making that pass. That's that grip. A lot of difference in grip. Everybody worked on this racetrack last year, has that in the back of their minds, but being down on downforce, the tire's softer, you know it's going to bust that lap off early, but how you manage those tires, the fall off is going to be so important. Have to have a perfect balance on these cars.
Yeah, I'm curious on how this practice will unfold, on how teams will utilize this practice session. We usually just have 1 set of tires, and will you just run a full 20-lap run, or will you cut it up and come in, make a change, and then test the car out on the refires?
I'll tell you how big this racetrack is. We're still under green, and it gets quiet on the front straightaway. As soon as it gets like that, I'm like, man, the caution's out, guys. They're back on the back stretch. Look at that car is dancing all around. A lot of rear brake in that car for AJ.
And that's that balance they're trying to find, right? Is how deep can you really toss it into some of these corners? And again, it's like, what lap count is he on for his tires? And it changes every single lap.
Regan?
We guys talk about that car counter steering and dancing around going into the corner. There is one common theme of what we're hearing on the radios right now down here in the garage, and it is loose and looking for rear grip and rear drive in these race cars. William Byron, Ross Chastain, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., just to name a few that are already back working on the race cars, not happy with where the balance is right now. Clint, when I hear loose, I get excited. That means these guys are going to be all over the place this weekend.
That's exactly right. The fall off's going to be there. Laterally, you see him sliding around. We watched A.J. Allmendinger loose already. He's pulling in, going to make some adjustments. Boys, this baby's too loose. Tighten me up. I got to take care of these rear tires.
Practice Friday, qualifying Saturday here at Circuit of the Americas. Sunday on Fox, the NASCAR Cup Series is right here in Austin, Texas at Circuit of the Americas. Set your clocks for 3 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Tyler Reddick, top of the board. How far can you go? Well, might be a little too far.
I'll tell you how far he went. Denny Hamlin drove off the track right behind him as well, following him in that corner too deep.
He was just trying to show the boss that he was working hard.
I tell you what else that does. It shows you, this track has a lot of runoff areas. When it was designed for those F1 cars, that's something that's different than a lot of the road courses that we go to in the Cup Series. Not a lot of runoff here, a lot of runoff. You live to see another day there. No harm, no foul.
Yep, the objective is to get back on right before the grass section comes back into play. I think the toughest right here, you clip that apex and you can head out over there as much as you want, but that is one of the toughest corners to carry the speed through.
Well, boys, among our ringers, Jordan Taylor is 4th, and Jenson Button, who has never driven a Cup car, is in the top 20.
I like it. I like it. Apparently parking lot testing is the way to go.
I'll tell you how interesting these things are to drive. 150 beats a minute on the old ticker. Heart's pumping out there. Workload's up. Got him on his game.
We're just talking practice. Practice.
Exactly. Workload's up for these guys. That thing starts slipping, sliding around, Mike. It never gets better. Always gets worse.
Clint, I think the off-throttle time here looks like it's longer in total than anywhere else we go.
Oh, for sure. And a lot more corners. 20 corners on this racetrack. If that thing's messing up in one corner or the other, it's a long ways around there. That's why these guys are all sitting in the garage area right now working on these things, making some adjustments. Hard thing to try to figure out your sim. The sim's how they get all these setups, all the magics made in the simulation with these manufacturers and these teams. And if that thing doesn't mesh up exactly right, to what the real life simulator, the driver in that car feels, that's what you got to go after and attack immediately. Make sure those correlations are talking to one another. You used to tell me in a competition meeting, Kurt, I'll never forget it, Mike. He'd say the left front's not talking to the right front, and I'm like, what in the hell are you talking about? But boy, he won a lot of races with them babies talking to each other, didn't you?
I just like when both fronts are interacting, and it's not like a 80% load on the right front and a 20% load on the left front. You want to try to share and burn up your fronts the same amount, not just one versus the other.
And I think, you know, in all seriousness, that's what plays such a big role in the success, even on a road course like this. If that front end's not pointing this baby in the right direction, you can't afford to put the throttle down because you come off the corner, you still have wheel in it on exit and stuff like that, and that's what amplifies wheel spin.
And I tell you, there's some drivers that just have a better feel for a front slip angle versus others. That's been kind of a theme the last few years with the way Goodyear's been building the tire and the way you got to drive these cars is you can't go beyond the front slip angle. That's like the #1 unwritten rule right now.
You know, we haven't seen much of the Toyota camp. Been a little bit hard on them in the weeks past, and Toyota boys are pretty fast. Gibbs cars are good, 2311. So far, so good for what they see.
There's Ross Chastain, who's won here. He is in the top 8 right now.
So just generally loose, yeah, building corner on entry, like entry to the carousel, any throttle touch. S's are pretty wet still in the paint, mainly, yeah, just a lot of counter steering everywhere. The front's really good though.
Yeah, I like what I'm hearing, but it's also like, okay, boys, you got your work cut out for you, because all of the corners he talked about are second gear, lower speed corners where you're not going to have the downforce to help at all because there's hardly any downforce on it now. So all the area he talked about was second gear, left and right movements.
Well, there's a lot of lateral movement through those corners too in those second gear scenarios, but it's just one switchback after another and unloading that load off of the right rear, the left rear. A lot to ask out of the car laterally, so you got to do something to get it tightened up there. But the problem is you tighten it up through there and you get over a turn 11 where it's extremely tight, or turn 12 where a lot of action's made. You're going to plow through those corners. A lot of balance, a lot of give and take on these road courses, especially one with so many corners like Circuit of Americas.
Chris Buescher currently 26th.
I love the no downforce. You know, when you talk about road courses, the other thing we're taking away is the stage brakes. You know, those are going to go away. We're still counting the points, but stage brakes going away. Not a lot of opportunity to adjust these cars. Guys are going to have to do a lot of adjusting and managing in that race car.
Tyler Reddick, fastest in practice, from Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe, Jordan Taylor, and Joey Logano. We're excited about the road course ringers, but don't forget that last year, all these road course races were won by series regulars. Chastain, Suarez, Reddick. Reddick doubled up, and Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell.
Reddick's the one on that list, and I know what I'm fixing to say, Kurt. He's the one on the list that surprises me, and the only one on the list that's won twice. He's good on these road courses.
Super sneaky about it, you know, like with my injury last year and the way that we had to work behind the scenes to try to get him over to the race team quicker at 2311. You know, there's different sponsors, different people were talking, like, really, we're getting Reddick? And it's like, you know what? He gets the job done. He won 3 Cup Series races last year, and that surprised the heck out of a ton of people.
The other thing it kind of does is, all right, roles reversed. Now he's driving for a different team, and he's still on top of the board. The 8 car with your brother Kyle Busch in it, they're struggling a little bit. So maybe the little kid behind the wheel and this break dancing on them pedals that you're watching on that left screen, maybe that's where the magic is.
God, that kid, he drives at 100% all the time, and it's a matter of just finessing that to the end of the races. But I mean, Kyle Busch has already won at RCR. Tyler had a couple bad breaks to start the year, but now has just ripped off a couple top 5s. I think everybody's settling pretty well with their new positions and new teams.
It's interesting watching the footwork as you're riding along with Tyler Reddick with the sequential shifting, how that looks different.
Not driving turn 8, not over driving turn 8.
Telling him turn 8, overdriving that thing a little bit, give up 8 a little bit to help you with 9 and 10. So important. It's easy to overdrive one corner and mess you up for the other. They're watching that SMT data back in. That's Billy Scott telling him, maybe if you try to back up 8 a little bit, helps you in 9 and 10 for some momentum gains.
I don't know, man. That throttle pedal thingy there, that has either his foot's small or they went to a bigger throttle pedal. I don't remember mine being that big.
I noticed that too. I couldn't tell if it was a brake pedal or a throttle pedal. I thought the loud pedal was always a skinny pedal.
That's right.
Caution's out for debris. Something at turn 6 in the S's. Now, NASCAR does not use the individual corner yellow flag convention that road racing organizations do. Every caution's a full course caution.
Yeah, that just helps clear things out. I mean, for a practice session like this is actually pretty timely. There's still going to be a nice 20-minute run once they get this debris cleaned up.
Still have local cautions and full course cautions in road racing. You see all those officials out there.
Caution flag out. We'll take a break.
She's Paula Murphy. Track speeds of 200 miles an hour are in her logbook.
This woman drove Indy cars. This woman's done Bonneville.
You know, this is a super talented race car driver.
She opened the door for everybody.
Her career was judged every single time she showed up.
She sounds like one hell of a person.
She's done everything that I've dreamed of doing.
I call myself the fastest broad in the West.
She probably is the most significant woman in racing history.
That special airs Thursday, March 30th, 6 p.m. on FS1, and it's a good one. 23 minutes to go. Green flag back out here at Circuit of the Americas. And there's the debris they picked up over at turn 6.
All right.
Okay.
I'm not
Let's
sure
see
that was
what that was.
Part of the track.
I think it
decal.
must, yeah, I agree. I don't think it come off a car.
Hey, an update on Eric Almirola. Remember, was leading on a long tire run, but cut down a tire and hit the wall hard. And Goodyear looked at those tires and found a long cut in that tire. He ran over something. The tire did not wear out. It was a cut tire that caused that. Jenson Button has impressed me. He's never been in a Cup car, but he is in the top 20 here in his number 15.
Started getting a lot of oversteer, overheating the rears, high speed corners get affected quite a bit, braking zones, corner exits, but I pick up understeer in low speed apexes. The rear end is the bigger issue. The hitting is pretty severe. I have to be very careful. I don't really know what it's going to do when I hit the rear of the car because it sounds very aggressive. I actually feel it.
Bottoming the car out. Some of those crossing the curbing and stuff like that. You want to get them things down as low as possible to take advantage of every bit of downforce underneath these cars with that diffuser and things. But if it's hitting and dragging, that's only going to make it worse. And it'll upset your car, maybe get out from underneath of you, Kurt.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's the risk versus reward. You talked about it earlier where you want the car to be able to handle the switchbacks, but then it's going to end up tight or understeer in the sharp apexes. So he believes they need to work on the oversteer, which is a loose feel all the way through the switchbacks. But sometimes a car will bottom out on the shock, and he needs to decide if that's too aggressive or if he can manage that.
Understeer, oversteer, that doesn't resonate in my life.
I love it.
Still doesn't, Mike. I had to sit there and really, really pay attention when he was saying, all right, okay, that's tight and that's loose.
Oh, come on. No, when I went to race Indy at the Indy 500, I was loving the oversteer.
Oh, you ate it up?
Oh, yeah. I brought it back to the Cup. And my crew chief's like, you got to drop that.
Corey LaJoie had a career week Sunday at Atlanta, 4th place finish.
Man, he's sure found his pace there, and that's too. I'm a believer there. He's got Atlanta figured out. Did a great job. Managed that race well. Got to the end and had another shot 2 years in a row.
Riding with Martin Truex, looking to break into the top 20 here.
There's that bottom. I heard it going over the rumble strips. Clunk.
Yeah, this is down into turn 11, and this is that nice pencil camera, right, that's mounted in the helmet. This gives you a great perspective, but it also shows you the head movement and the amount of back and forth and bouncing off curbs, and just your typical movements on what a driver goes through.
Showed me how tight that turn was at the top of the hill, and then how long this straightaway is. This is the best passing zone in the whole track, and that's why. See that thing start? He was actually starting to slide the rear tires out from underneath of him.
Larry Mack, you have some numbers for us on off-throttle time here?
Well, I do, Mike. And what we did, we went back and looked at Tyler Reddick in the 45 car, his 4th lap, which was 1:34 seconds. Now, remember, this is a 3.41-mile road course with 20 turns, as you pointed out. Again, that lap was 1:34 seconds. He was off throttle. Now, some of it's part throttle, but he was off throttle basically 1:22. And again, basically a half a lap he was off throttle around this track.
Thanks, Larry.
That teaches me you got to work on the finesse and trying to take care of those tires, because the longer you take care of them, the more they're going to help you out.
Make that 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
Yeah.
I was
with you.
I was
That's
off
okay.
a minute. So, but anyhow, half a lap he was off throttle.
Speaking of throttle, everybody's talking about these things being loose, and once they start being loose laterally, in other words, coming out from underneath on the switchbacks, forward drive starts to go away as well.
Hey, new name at the top of the board, Austin Cindric for Team Penske. Now, Austin started his career in Bandoleros and legend cars at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and then did some racing in Europe, did a lot of road racing before coming to NASCAR.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me one bit. Was fast immediately when he got in these cars in the Cup Series. It was right here at COTA. Always really fast, finding that speed in the car. Does a good job of all the things that we've been talking about, cars being loose, having to manage your tires and stuff like that. That's going to play right into his wheelhouse.
Yeah, Cindric I thought was going to be a road racer for life, and it's a hidden amount of stats that he really has on road courses. His dad, Tim Cindric, is the GM over at Penske, and when the timing was right, found a nice opportunity to get him in an Xfinity car. Now he's a Daytona 500 champion.
Seeing them cars coming down that hill, getting into 12, and you saw Larson right in front of him, just whoa, hold on to it. This rear tires are out from underneath of him in a big way. The other thing you saw right there, that's what we were talking about, different driving styles. Kyle kept it really tight through that corner, whereas Cindric really opened his apex up, got that straight drive off. There's no one perfect way of doing that. I love this track because of that.
Austin Cindric, who has raced in 7 different countries, is top of the chart here at COTA. Beautiful Austin, Texas, and just outside the city near the airport, Circuit of the Americas, where there's 16 minutes to go in this Friday practice session for the NASCAR Cup Series. Austin Cindric, Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe are the Fast Five right now. Jordan Taylor, the IMSA road racer, in 6th. Then Logano, Chastain, Gibbs, Byron, and Suarez. Regan?
Well, Mike, you mentioned Jordan Taylor in 6th. In the garage, though, I found his brother Ricky Taylor a moment ago. I saw you over here, Ricky, watching as he put that fast lap time up. So tell me, how do you rate your brother's performance so far today?
I think he's doing great. I mean, to get in there, I think it was his 2nd or 3rd time lap, and really getting used to the car. Hendrick really prepared him well with the simulator, but there's so little on-track time that, I was really impressed how quickly he got up to speed. He told me he had a nightmare last night that he finished practice in P37, so I think he'll be happy with how he's doing.
I think he'd be very happy. Any jealousy that you're not out there right now?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It's so exciting to be here, and I'm so proud of him to be out there, but man, he said his heart rate was like 160 just sitting in here in the pit box with the nerves getting ready for his first practice. But yeah, I'm here just on vacation watching him, supporting him, so it's been a lot of fun.
Mike, of course, Ricky, very decorated race car driver himself, 24-time IMSA winner himself.
There's the stats on Jordan Taylor.
It's impressive.
Very much so.
That. And I think some guys are both moving a little right front lockup in turn 8. I think some guys are putting on a 2nd set of tires. I was unaware that there was 2, and some could be doing a mock run, like a hybrid style mock run, or it's just go after it with stickers like you're in race trim.
Well, 14 minutes left in practice. I think you're spot on. I think William Byron just went up to the third, to the 2:13. That's a fast lap. It's getting hotter by the minute all day long. It was right. I mean, obviously we were delayed in practice because of rain that was on the racetrack. So these conditions are only getting worse for these guys. Probably time to put another set on. Let's make one more run here and see what we got. But Jordan Taylor, before that, right off the truck, I just knew that he was going to, I thought the opportunity was there for him, and he proved it. I mean, not only was he fast, he was the best of his teammates, too. That's a best case scenario. That isn't the nightmare 37th place after practice. That is literally representing and carrying the flag for your organization. Pretty incredible.
Kevin Harvick back in 33rd. He has run only 7 laps. Everybody but A.J. Allmendinger and Jenson Button have run that many or more. Cody Ware, turn 19.
Whoa. Boy, that was a big overcorrection. That just about got ugly and spun the other way.
Yeah, that's that carousel section where your second gear trying to find that lateral grip. Downforce being down, she's going to be slipping and sliding.
And you can see all the way through there, it's sliding around.
Oh, there it is again.
And he's not very happy with that car right now. Hey, Mike, that's not handling the best.
No.
See you guys this time. I can't even make a lap right now. It's so hard to drive.
We agree, bud.
And I would be bringing it in.
Yeah, hopefully there's something they can find that will help find that rear grip for him.
Well, it looks a lot looser to the right than it is the left, so that may be able to help them a little bit.
Noah Gragson, 23rd right now.
That wheel lockup you see there, that's going to be tricky. You cannot, you know, with the transfer, you want some weight transfer that helps with the rear end of that thing. You start softening the shocks up a little bit side to side, Kurt, to get you some of that side bite. But it comes at the expense of lifting those front tires. And then you start locking that tire up. And when you start that, it only gets worse from there.
Yeah, it's a bad chain of events. But again, it's that compromise, and you're trying to find the balance.
Well, about half the cars are on track. The other half are in the pits, holding on those second set of tires to finish this practice off. Tyler Reddick, top of the speed chart. Ross Chastain and Kyle Busch, the top 3. Michael McDowell up in the top 5. Bubba Wallace.
Starting to see a lot of people moving around, putting tires on. Cars are, you know, they've had some experience on the racetrack, some seat time, and then they've also had some opportunity to make some adjustments. Seeing it waking these cars up on a lap time in a big way.
Look at that. Look at McDowell. Why does nobody want to drive in the gray? Let's use the green. Let's use the red. Nobody wants to drive on the gray.
I'll tell you a small little secret. Guys might think I'm crazy, but at FIA tracks like this where Formula One runs, they put down like this sandy grit paint. It's some sand mixture that's in the red and in the green, and that helps in rain conditions. But it also, it's because this track is weathered and the asphalt's so much older, the paint gets redone every year, and it's got plenty of grip. That's why you see them out there.
Well, and it makes the track bigger. I mean, these corners are extremely tight. Hey, they're trying to stay on. You got to use every inch of this asphalt, and that's what they're doing, whether it's painted or not. Man, that thing is loose.
Yeah, that's the exit of the carousel again, that fast right-hander. Woo. Smoked that one pretty good. This reminds me a little bit of F1, where they put the second set of tires on and everybody's busting off fast laps at the end of practice.
You're also going to start seeing, what I'm seeing, everybody was complaining about being loose to the rear end. Well, they're softening those rear ends up to try to give them some rear grip, and it's letting that car roll over. Starting to see some wheel lock up. That's going to be a tricky balance for these crew chiefs.
Bubba never saw that apex at 19.
He was trying to get that fast mock lap in, right, where the second or the different start finish line is. I'm guilty of that.
Now, one driver who is not in the top 20, bit of a surprise, A.J. Allmendinger back in 27th.
Absolutely just no lateral, man. So freaking loose. I cannot, I have to drive the car so straight. That helps braking a bit, but I mean, it's just a handful to drive. I can't lean on the thing at all.
I think we're going to hear that quite a bit. all weekend.
And honestly, I think, like I said, they're going to try to soften those rear ends up a little bit and give him some of that lateral, and that starts moving that thing around, shifting the weight. It's always a constant battle in the balance of these race cars, keeping that platform. You want that platform, but if I need to give you some rear grip, it's probably going to come at the expense of some platform, I would think.
Kimi Räikkönen 25th now. He had been up in the top 20 despite having very few laps in one of these Cup cars. 8 minutes to go in this Friday practice session for the NASCAR Cup Series. Tyler Reddick still fastest. Tyler Reddick fastest in this session on his 12th of 15 laps today in his Toyota. Kyle Larson just jumped up to second, about half a second behind Reddick. Chastain third. Kyle Busch, Michael McDowell, Jordan Taylor just jumped up to seventh while we were in break. And Ricky Stenhouse to ninth.
Yeah, and this pace is no joke. I mean, as far as track record speed, he's about 2/10 off. And right now, I mean, everything is indicating tomorrow is going to be a nice type of day like this. Qualifying goes down early. We might see a little tickle on the old track record blip, and a lot of that's because the cars are going down the straightaway a little quicker with less downforce.
They are slipping and sliding around. I see Kyle Larson behind Bubba Wallace there, and he was swatting flies.
Austin Cindric was at the top of the board, fell down to 11th, but now he's put on his second set of tires. And we'll see what he can muster here. His fast lap of 2:12.9 right now is about 9/10 off of what Tyler Reddick ran on his 12th lap.
Yeah, the pace differential of really laying down a lap on stickers is going to be so different than the full run on a fuel run. And with no stage brakes, you don't know when yellows are going to come out. I'm anticipating guys trying to turn this into a typical two-stop style race.
All right, we've got some audio about how to get through the S's, and I think that's the most difficult part of this racetrack, because instead of getting a rhythm and going faster as you go through the S's, you have to go slower through each succeeding one. Let's pick up Michael McDowell and Kevin Harvick.
34 spotter, remind your driver. Spotter the 4, remind your driver that will be a disallowed time tomorrow. Shortcutting the S's.
Oh, that's the tower.
Yeah, that's something different entirely.
Absolutely, cutting that corner off. And I even talked to Ross Chastain before this. Do you have a definitive answer in your mind of where is out of bounds in these S's that they're talking about? Yeah, not really. I said that's exactly what I thought. And that is the tower, a warning that 4 car and McDowell that they are not going to be allowing that lap in qualifying if they run that lap again. So they're going to have to stay on the track more.
I love that. That's where, if I'm told by NASCAR that would be a disallowed lap, I want to know that. So that's a good omen in a sense to make that mistake now. To me, it's putting the right sides too far into the blue paint. We got the green, we got the red. The blue is the no-go zone in turns 3, 4, and 5. That's how it was last year.
Exactly. And the way it was explained to us is 4 tires in the blue, you'll be doing a drive-through. Drive-through penalty, that is. No?
It's not what the drivers meeting says. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, then.
I will have a definitive answer.
Great.
Point blank. I want to know where the foul line is. I'm going to march my little butt up to that tower and get in front of Juice on the race director and say, all right, where is this call going to come from? I want to know where out of bounds line is.
And then I'll go find somebody else and ask them.
Have a different
we'll see if we can
interpretation of it. I think we call that racing, boys.
Kyle Larson, who is second fastest, and Bubba Wallace, who is 7th, nose to tail here.
Yeah, this is that stadium section where it's all optional on which direction you want to shave on which inside edge or carry your momentum wide. And then it's that long carousel, big sweeping right-hander, and it's actually banked backwards the higher up on the track you are.
So Larry's having a look at tire fall off for us.
Yeah, Mike, I talked to a lot of crew chiefs this week as we see Ross Chastain. He's off the racetrack in that one car. And Kurt talked about it at the top of the show about the softer tire with less downforce. Kurt also mentioned about a two-stop race, and the math works out perfect. It's a 68-lap race. You can go about 22 to 23 laps on a fuel run. That's dividing it into equal thirds. But I talked to Jonathan Hassler, Ryan Blaney's crew chief. He said, Larry, let's watch practice, tire fall off. Don't rule out that we won't turn it into a three-stop race in exactly 17 laps to run. So that's going to be interesting and fun to watch on Sunday.
Sure will.
I like that. When there's the options of 2 versus 3, and we don't know when yellows are going to come out. This is some old school right here. Low downforce, tires that are dropping off. I'm excited. I'm glad you guys have me in the booth for Sunday.
And we still award points at the end of each stage. This is still a 3-stage race. The big difference is there will not be stage breaks at the road courses this year so that they don't affect strategy. There won't even be a flag. We will simply note that as they cross the start-finish line and award the points, and the race goes on. And again, road courses only.
I'm okay with it. Hey, it's hard to, you just wait till if this baby runs green here for about an hour and a half. It's going to be interesting, but I think the fall off is the most important thing. If you're going to have these strategy calls like this, you need to see some fall off.
Packed house, 35 cars are on track as this session ends. And no practice tomorrow, just qualifying. And have a look at the top 5, because 4 of our 5 road course winners last year all rank in the top 5 in this practice.
I like it. Good variety up there.
McDowell, Jordan Taylor, the top 10.
Ty Gibbs, the rookie, up there. Well, what did we learn in the course of 50 minutes here? We know the road course ringers can hold their own, and maybe even more than that when we get to this race on Sunday. But as the top 5 shows, the fellows who win road course races, they're the ones at the top.
Yeah, no surprises with our speed within the Cup Series. Jordan Taylor, again, you've heard me say it all practice long, very impressed with the speed that he has on those cars. But, man, these babies slipping and sliding around, Kurt. It's going to be a wild one, and I cannot wait to see Sunday's race. But busting this big lap off tomorrow, how do I do it?
Right? You got to just have the confidence to know each braking zone is the most important sector to gain speed. And then as the tires drop off, though, in the race, it's that compromise. How soft do you want the rear, and how much do you want it to give you that lateral? But it's also going to upset the front grip level, and it's easy to lock up an inside front.
So practice is over tomorrow, just qualifying, and Gunther Steiner from Haas Formula One will join us here at COTA for qualifying tomorrow on FS1. Who's going to win the pole for the EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix? Tune in tomorrow.